So it was April 2007, and I'm sitting in Bryant Park in New York City, and it's that day right when spring lands, and everybody in New York City is out and picnicking. And I'm sitting, and I have this manila envelope in my hand, and my heart is racing. Now in 2004, I had the privilege of attending the school of my dreams, which was the University of California, San Diego, for an MFA acting program. So when I was a kid, my dream was to be an actor. So I had an identical twin brother. When he played with toys, it was war, and when I played, it was War the Musical. My characters sang, and they danced, and they had monologues. But of course, growing up in Miami, Florida, to a Cuban father, like a boy who had aspirations for the theater, was a total #low. So I went to college, played the game that I wanted everyone to abide by, and then when I graduated, I said, fuck it, I'm going to live my dream. I'm moving to New York City. So about 5 years of a lot of waitering, and 5 years of bartending, and a lot of like crushed dreams at auditions. So when I landed the golden ticket of going to one of the top conservatory programs in the country, I said, when I come back to New York City, it's going to be like the best coming out party ever, like a debutante ball. So I start my program, and everyone's eyes are always on the final showcase. When you go to New York City and you present for casting agents and casting directors, and because of the program that I was in, you were with NYU and Yale, which are the top MFA acting programs in the country. So it really is the top people of a certain year who are being shown and showcased. And you're always thinking about that moment. And a couple months into my time at UC San Diego, myself and a couple friends put on a little show, and it was called Cabaret, which is a cabaret that was really gay. That's what it was. And as we were putting together the scenes for the play, there was this character that emerged, and his name was Mr. Charles, and it was the gayest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. And I'm super gay, and it was even gayer than I was. It's like the gayest thing you've ever seen on the planet. And the moment that I started doing the monologue, everybody was like, oh my God, this is your showcase piece. This is the thing that you're going to deliver in 3 years, and you're going to be a freaking rock star. And at first I didn't believe it, but I kept on hearing it over and over again. And I said, wow, awesome. And then I rested on my laurels. And I was like, I got it, it's in the bag, it's going to be great. So fast forward to 2007, and we're with my classmates, about 8 of us, and we're piecing together the 30-minute final presentation. And I have it that I'm going to be doing this thing. It's going to be amazing, it's going to be awesome, it's really, really funny, it's super, super gay. And as we start piecing it together, from what was a 20-minute skit into 3 minutes, it stops working. It's not funny anymore. And I start panicking. And then we do it at our graduation, and it just doesn't land, and then I make this initial decision to pivot. And I'm going to change the scene, I'm going to do a whole other scene. It's from another play, where I play someone who's really flamboyant and Latino. So I went from being super, super gay to being flamboyant and Latino, because it's still in the bag. I'm Cuban, I can do it. And we're set, we're rehearsing, it's landing, and then we finally come back to New York City. It's April 2007, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're the first ones to go. And it's the deadest audience. Like, it's like speaking, and like nobody's like responding to anything. So try doing comedy in that. And I'm towards the tail end, and I'm getting really nervous. And we start, and we're starting the scenes, we're doing them, and finally it's my turn to walk on stage. And my outfit was this leisure suit, this blue and purple leisure suit with like snakeskin cobra shoes. You know, I was shaved bald with like fabulous facial hair. And I do my first line and it kills. Everyone's laughing. And then I had a moment of doubt, a flash of self-consciousness, and the temperature shifted in the room. And nobody laughed again. And it was super awkward. Like that. And I went off stage and I kind of shook it off, and I I kept myself, I was like, it was great, we're about crowd, I'm going to keep really positive. And then the following morning, I'm sitting in Bryant Park on a sunny, crisp day, and inside it feels 100% humidity and cloudy with 100% chance of rain. And I open the manila envelope that seals my fate, my future. And as I open it, it's kind of when you get your college admission, that you want a really thick envelope. So I opened it, and of all the casting directors and agents and managers in New York, I had 3 people who were interested in meeting me. And I had a week and a half of scheduled time to meet with people, which meant I had a lot of time on my hand. And in that moment, I'm sitting in Bryant Park, and my heart continues to race, and all of a sudden I'm flushed with embarrassment and shame and anger and disappointment. And I was like, this is not what I had gone to grad school for. This is not the experience I wanted. This is not what I'd sacrificed for. And then I remembered the people who were in my position before. And the people who were in my position years before, which I had watched, went to blame, they went to belittling, and they went to blasting. And it just struck me as being so ugly. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. And in that moment, I said, I'm going to focus on 3 things. I'm going to focus on gratitude, I'm going to be graceful, and I'm going to focus on generosity. And I picked up my phone, and with whatever I had to muster, I called every single one of my teachers. And I said, thank you. Thank you for believing in me, because right now, your belief in me is what's getting me through this moment. And then I called my classmates, some of whom were the belles of the ball, had like their entire schedule filled, weeks and weeks and weeks of meetings and auditions. And I said, congratulations, I'm really happy for you, that you really, really, really deserved it. And I took 100% responsibility for the result. Because what happened is that I gave up my power and I got comfortable. And 2, I was the one who was responsible for that flash of self-consciousness. It was nobody else's fault. But it was my doubt. It was that thing that I believe changed the temperature that produced the result in that room when I was auditioning. And then I remember being back in 2004 when I started grad school, and I said, I'm never going to go to an audition again. I'm never going to go to an open audition again. And I said, fuck it, you're an actor, what you do is you audition. And I walked from Bryant Park to Times Square and up to 46th Street and 7th Avenue, and I climbed up the 2 steps and I signed up for an audition for Les Miserables. And it's a cattle call audition. So in this cattle call audition, you have about 400 people who sign up. And then you march into the room into groups of 20 with your headshot and your resume, and they ask you like 2 questions, your name and your audition song. And after that, they decide, well, he didn't sing or we won't hear them sing. So talk about despair, because if they didn't choose me, I was going to jump out the window. Like I was like that, like anxious. And I walked in and I took a gamble, and I said, maybe the person behind the desk had seen me before. They'd seen me, but the day before at that audition. So I walked in and I said my name and my audition song. He said, wait a second, didn't I see you last night at the audition? And I said, yes. And he said, why are you here? And I said, because in the audition I didn't sing. And I'm a singer, and I came here to sing. And he said, awesome. So then I went outside the room, and then the auditor walked out, and they called 3 names, and mine was one of those names. And then you have 16 bars to sing. How many people here are musicians? So 16 bars is not a lot. It's like, hi, this is my name and a high note. That's all you get. And men get 16 bars, women get 8. So it's even that much more competitive with women in the theater. So I walked in to the room, and I put my sheet music on the pianist played the piano, and he played the note, and then I started, it's time to sail through that door, it's time now to soar. So let my life story start. And in that moment, after that, I secured a whole week and a half worth of auditions. I didn't get Les Mis, but it doesn't matter. But in that moment of victory, I chose gratitude, I chose being graceful, and I chose generosity. And I got to be the person in that moment, my worst moment, that moment that I felt like I fucked up my career, I fucked up my life, I fucked up everything that I'd worked for. I turned it into a victory. And I did what I knew that there was to do, which was to show up, take 100% responsibility, and play fucking ball. My father would be really happy for that sports analogy at the end. So, I'm going to ask you to all humor me for a second. And I want to share with you a song that I learned in kindergarten. And the song is called Everyone Makes Mistakes. But we're going to sing Everyone Fucks Up. And we're going to all sing it together, so I'm going to teach it to you. Are you down?
Yeah!
Okay, so it goes like this. So we sang this at my kindergarten graduation. Imagine, I still remember to this day. And it goes like this. Everyone fucks up, so yes they do. So say that with me. Everyone fucks up, so yes they do. Your sister and your brother and your mother, father too. Okay, here we go. Your sister and your brother and your mother, father too. Big people, small people. Okay, here we go. Big people, small people. Then matter of fact, all people. Matter of fact, all people. Everyone fucks up, oh yes they do. Here we go. Everyone fucks up, oh yes they do. Now, if everyone in the whole wide world fucks up, here we go. If everyone in the whole wide world fucks up. Now this is the big finish. We all get to sing. Then why can't you? Okay, so we're all going to sing that together. And let there be harmony, let there be joy, let there be love, let there be everything. This is Israel, honey. Come on, let's make it happen. Okay, we can sing. Tel Aviv, ya habibi, Tel Aviv. That's all I know. Okay, so we're going to do the big finish. Here we go. If everyone in the whole wide world makes sense, then why can't you? Here we go. Then why can't you? We're all fuck-ups!
Thank you, that was amazing. I think that was our first Fuckup sing-along, so thank you. So, Eduardo, you seem to have reinvented yourself a number of times. But you're not necessarily, you're in Fearless Communications now. And so, what is your thought process, or what has led to that evolution of reinventing yourself?
That's such a juicy question. So I actually have an international public speaking coaching business, and it's called Fearless Communicators. For me, I think there's a fabulous test. Everyone should take it. It's called the VIA Character Strength Survey. It comes out of the University of Pennsylvania, my alma mater. It's from their School of Positive Psychology. And it tells you what your core strengths are. Now, psychology has traditionally measured what's wrong with us. And they figured if this can measure what's wrong, we can also measure what's right. And when I took the test, my core strength was creativity. And I got really pissed when I saw it. I was like, ugh, there it is. Arts and crafts, show tunes, dancing. It's so not useful, it's so not practical. And then, I was pissed for like 20 minutes. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, why do I look like this? Why do I have eyes? Why am I fat? Like that we have like this internal tape about ourselves, that we're so judgy and critical. And then I took a moment and I saw the word, and I saw creativity, and I said, from the verb to create. And I was like, I'm a creator. Like that is like my core strength. When I graduated from grad school, I launched a public speaking coaching business, and I immediately launched an international photography business, just so I said, I'm going to be a photographer. It took me like 20 years to call myself an actor, but it took me 30 seconds to call myself a photographer, And the first wedding I photographed was in Colombia, the second one was in Jamaica, so I think that as someone who's a creative spirit, I think there's always an opportunity to lean into that an expression. There's also this conversation around specificity and focus, specifically in entrepreneurship. They're like, pick one thing, focus on that, put all your attention on that, and that's how you'll exceed and excel and exceed. Now, not everyone is built that way. Right? Now, I think some of us have been taught that in order to be extraordinary, you have to be great at one thing and focus at that. Now, I am extremely competent and really great at many things, and that's similarly extraordinary. And I think as the world is evolving, we're finding people who are much more multidisciplinarian, people who are expansive in their creativity, and are creating opportunities to live a life that's self-expressed in a way that's multifaceted.
I like it. We have time for one more question for Eduardo. Does anybody have a question or want to sing for us? No.
Yeah.
I'm going to come a little closer to you. He wants a public speaking tip. Okay, great. I'm going to give you, like, my top ones. May I? Oh my god, delish. Okay, so I want everybody to stand. And if you don't want to stand, no big deal, whatever, no big deal. No one's going to force you. Okay, so now when you breathe, where do you imagine that you breathe to? Huh? Your mouth. Awesome. That's a place to start. Yes? Where else do you breathe to? When you inhale, where do you take your breath to?
Stomach.
Your stomach. Okay, really, really great. I'm going to invite you to dig a little deeper than that. And it's right below your belly button, and it's a part of your body that my singing teacher called the Zorch. Okay, you're not going to find it in biology. You're not going to find it anywhere, but it's called the Zorch. I think it's a far more fabulous word than your fucking diaphragm. Okay, so I want you to all say the word Zorch.
Zorch.
Yeah, Zorch. Okay, so I want you to put your hands on your Zorch, and what you're going to do is you're going to inhale and you're going to exhale on a sound. And as you do that, I want you to feel the Zorch being really active. Okay? So everyone inhale. Great, that's it. Thank you very much. I'm just kidding. Okay. So now stand up. So now raise your hand if your knees were locked. If your knees were locked, raise your hands if your knees were locked. Okay, now this is weird because in Israel, like, everyone serves in the army, so it's like, you may know this one already. But most people, when they stand at attention, they lock their knees to speak. Now what happens if you stand at attention and your knees are locked? You can't move. You also pass out. Yes. One of the things they first tell you to do in the military when you're standing at attention or marching band or anything is to not lock your knees. Because you cut off your circulation, you make your breath very shallow, and you pass out. So many people, when they're speaking, have an experience of their hands are sweating, or their mind is racing, or they can't remember what they're going to talk about. They get really, they're surviving the event. Part of it is you're hyperventilating yourself because your knees are locked. So, like, one of my biggest public speaking hacks and tricks is to unlock your knees. Right? That doesn't mean walk around like Groucho, because that's really strange and really weird and bizarre. But it's the difference between locking the knees and unlocking them. If you notice, actually, when you unlock the knees, then you're actually more stable than if your knees are locked. The other thing that I would share, there's so many juicy ones, is there are 3 places that you carry tension that you probably wouldn't know that you carry tension. It's the jaw, tongue, and the larynx. Right? So what I want you to do is I want you to put your hand where your upper jaw and your lower jaw meet. Right? And does it hurt? Yeah. So you want to, like, really dig in there, and you want to exhale on breath. Make sure your knees are unlocked so you don't pass out. Breathe out. I can only do one at a time. Right? And then the other thing you want to do is there's your base of your tongue. So right underneath your tongue here, if you massage down here, this woman in orange just yawned, which is extraordinary. Do you know why we yawn? Because we need more air, like oxygen deprived, especially at this time of the day. So connecting to your breath, you can yawn. Whenever I'm working with people and they yawn, everyone has free range to yawn. Because if not, they do this. And they look like drag queens. It's like no need to be a drag queen when you're doing it, right? So anyway, the base of the tongue is a really great place. You'll find there are like knots here, right? That's really useful to warm up. And then also your larynx is also really useful. So that you massage. Now you want to be really gentle when you do it. Massage down the side of your larynx, and then you shake it out on breath. And then you can add sound. And then the last thing, just really quickly, when you speak, where's your voice? It's a weird question to ask. Stephanie know the answer over here. When you speak, where's your voice? Notice that nobody's speaking. The statistic is that 75% of people have speech anxiety, and I think another 24% lie. So people think that their voice is here, or their voice is here, or their voice is here, but your voice is completely and totally outside of you. Your speaking is not for you. Your speaking is intended for somebody else. Guess what? There's no such thing as private speaking. Every speaking that you're doing is public speaking. Right? So understanding that the whole point of your communication is not for you, but it's all intended to land on somebody else. So my invitation to speak is not to be speaking from here, from your mind, and trying to get it right, trying to prove something, but instead focusing your energy on being completely and totally your audience, in a space of service, in a space of generosity, in a space of love. So when I walk out, every time I speak, I surrender the not being good enough, being ashamed, being a failure, whatever's going on up here, and instead coming out and I say I love you to myself, and I say I love you to the audience, and I hope you felt that tonight. Thank you.